Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the 2019 AP Computer Science A Free Response Question 2. College Board releases these questions every year. I'll be sure to link it in the description. So let's get started. This question involves the implementation of a fitness tracking system that is represented by the step tracker class. A step tracker object is created with a parameter that defines the minimum number of steps that must be taken for a day to be considered active. The step tracker class provides a constructor and the following methods. Add daily steps, which accumulates information about steps in readings taken once per day. Active days, which returns the number of active days. And average steps, which returns the average number of steps per day, calculated by dividing the total number of steps taken by the number of days tracked. So it looks like we're going to need a few member variables. One of them is the minimum number of steps taken for a day to be considered active. We're going to need the total amount of steps taken. We're going to need the number of active days and the total number of days. So now let's look at these examples. There's a lot of them here, but two are really important. The first one here shows us that the constructor takes in one argument. And this one here shows us that the average steps function returns a double. So those are two pretty important things. And the question is just write the complete step tracker class. Okay, so we start out public class step tracker. All right, and we have our member variables that we mentioned earlier. Private int min active, private int num days, private int total steps, and private int num active. Okay, so let's start with just writing the constructor. Public step tracker int minimum. Okay, so what this is we want to take in the minimum number of active days just like they're doing here, and we're going to go ahead and say min active equals minimum. Okay, and then we also want to initialize the other three. So let's say num days equals 0 and total steps equals 0 and num active equals 0. Okay, right, because we haven't taken any, there's been no days yet, no steps taken, and no active days yet. All right, now let's write add daily steps. So public void add daily steps int steps. Okay, so the reason we know it's a void function, is that there's no values returned when calling add daily steps. So what we want to do is we want to take in that number of steps that we're given and add it to the total number of steps. Total steps plus equals steps. Cool. Now what else we need to do is it's been 1 day now, so we want to say num days plus plus. So that now it's been 1 day. And then we also need to see, hey, is this day an active day? So we need to check the total number of steps taken in this day and see if it's over the minimum to be required active. So, sorry, to be considered active. So we're going to say if steps is greater than or equal to min active, then we need to increment the number of active days. Cool. So that's all there is for add daily steps. Whoops. Now we have active days. So we want to return the number of active days. And we know active days returns a integer. So public int active days and takes no parameters. Well, we already have our member right there, num active. Just return num active. That's all there is for that one. And finally we have, well, finally we have public double average steps. So we need to basically see what's the average number of steps. But we need to be careful. See if there has not been any data recorded yet, we need to return 0. So we need to do a check for that before we calculate the average. So if num days equals 0, we just want to return 0.0. And then otherwise, if there has been some days, we can just do return double total steps divided by num days. Now you can see why we needed to check, make sure that num days wasn't equal to 0, because we'd have a divide by 0 error right here. And right here we cast to double because total steps and num days are both integers. So if we just return this value, we're going to get integer division. And we don't want that because we want to have a double. So we're going to say return double total steps. Okay, that's all there is for question 2. Thanks for watching.